And so we have a very diverse community, and again, we're in the process of building a diverse organization to respond to our community's needs. There are 1,300 businesses in our community doing business today, and we are the 4th fastest growing city in the state of Colorado. So this is really an exciting place to be. It's a great place to work. If you could think of our city as a $100 million corporation, that is what we spend on an annual basis to keep the doors open of our city and to build new capital improvement projects that we're doing throughout the community. And so with that said, our vision in the police department is to be the standard for excellence of public safety in this region. Not to be mediocre, not to be good, to be excellent. And to be excellent, we need to hire excellent people, people who are committed to serving others before serving themselves, people who are committed to being a leader in the community, people who have education and communication skills, who are willing to go out and help our community and our department solve problems. That is what we are after. So if those are sounding like things that are attractive to you, if that is sounding like things that you're capable of doing, then you've come to the right place this evening. And you're going to learn more about our department as the evening goes on. The last thing I want to share with you is that the population of the United States is about 350 million people. Only 750,000 people in this country of ours get to serve as police officers. What we get to do for a living, most people go home after a hard day of work and get a bowl of ice cream and watch on TV. We do not take this gift for granted. We know that the authority that is invested in us as public servants comes from the people in this country. And that means in our democracy that every day as police officers we must do things that earn and hold the public's trust. We must behave in ways that earn the public's trust. And that is an expectation that I have of myself and every single person that works in our department. That is an critical element to us being effective at serving our community. So I want to leave you with that thought, and I want to turn this presentation over so you can learn more about our department this evening to Mr. Craig Dodd, who is our professional standards manager and will be responsible for shepherding you all through this selection process. Thank you again for being here.
Good evening, everybody. Before we get started this evening and go through a PowerPoint presentation, I want to make identify a few people that are in the audience that you will hear from later. But before I start with that, the chief talked about the number of officers in the United States, and I forget the number he used. But if you relate that also to a police officer hiring process, I can tell you the success rate from application and actually being hired onto a police department in the Denver metro area is about 3 to 5%. 3% to 5%. So it's a very long, arduous process that takes about 3 to 4 months, and we only select the best. And the best piece of advice, if you take one thing away from here tonight, is that you need to be extremely honest and transparent throughout that entire process, or the process will catch you and you will not move on or move forward. So before we get, let me go ahead and make identify some people in the audience. Commander Dave Cubbage is over here to the left. He is one of our night shift commanders. In the back of the room, Anna Boongarts, she will be speaking to you. She is a police officer. She's been here for 8 years. She has 16 total years of experience with Adams County Sheriff's Department and also the Commerce City Police Department. Jeremy Jenkins is also in the back. He has 13 years with the Commerce City Police Department and 16 years total. You met the chief. In the back in the suit, Mr. Commander Rick McNair runs the Flat Rock Training Facility at the Adams County Sheriff's Department, so he will kind of talk about what that process of becoming post-certified is all about. And then last but not least, Commander Dennis Moon is also one of our night shift commanders. So, Anna? We will also have a time at the end of the presentation. This presentation will take upwards of an hour. At the end of the presentation, any questions that have gone unanswered, we will have a Q&A. We'll pass the mic around, give you an opportunity to speak to any of us that have spoken during the presentation, or if you'd like to speak to us later on in private, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So.
As always, there's going to be some technical difficulties. Can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. So as the chief said before, our vision statement is something that we live by every single day. Every community contact that we make, everything that we do, that delivery goes through our core values within the police department. He already talked about that we strive to be the standard of excellence for public safety and service in this region. Next to that will be the core values, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Every contact that we make, we're using all of these core values in order to deliver that service to the community every single day. A lot of you guys I've talked to on the phone, via email, and they specifically, or you specifically asked me, why do I stay in Commerce City? What exactly do I like best about it? Why did I become a police officer? Things like that. So if you have some questions, hopefully we're going to hold them to the very end. And if you have specific questions or you don't understand something that may have been listed on the job announcement or on the web page, because there is a little bit of some differences between what was on the web page and what was passed out, I guess, in the newspaper or the announcement. So if there's any questions, please hold them to the end. We'll get them to the very end, and we'll be able to address any question that you have or any concern or any specific question that maybe you don't want to say out loud. You can come up and speak to us afterwards, and we'll be able to answer any of your questions, okay? So some of you have already completed this based on the conversations that we've had over the telephone or not, but on our web page right there, visit c3gov.com/recruit. This is exactly where you're going to find the non-certified police recruit job posting. So it's a little bit difficult because there's some accounting jobs and some administrative jobs that are listed first in the first section. And you have to scroll down. A lot of people had called me and said that they couldn't find the non-certified police recruit title. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you should be able to see it. I know I went through it one by one with a couple of you guys on the phone. But this is what the web page actually looks like. And this is the one that you're going to be applying for, is that non-certified police recruit. So if you click on that tab, it'll take you into exactly where you need to apply. And it'll say apply, and then next to that, after you've completed the actual job application, which Craig Dodd is going to go into after that, it says you need to attach your personal history statement. Actually, if you can go back for a second. So this is a hyperlink as well. If you don't complete the personal history statement, obviously you're not going to be employed with us. That's a big part. And let me key up on that. On the personal history statement, everything that's asked in the personal history statement is going to be re-asked probably 15 different ways through your voice stress analysis and some other steps that are going to go on through here. So if you say you've never smoked marijuana in here and you have, or you've been terminated from a job, that's going to come up later in your voice stress analysis. So please, 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 if I can give you any advice at all and you don't listen to anything I say for the rest of the night, please complete this out. Complete this perfectly to truth. Everything that you have, know people about situations that you've had or not had. This needs to be completed correctly, okay? And attached as well. So what are the minimum requirements to apply? You have to be 21 years of age. You have to possess a high school diploma or GED, and you have to possess a valid Colorado driver's license. What will automatically disqualify you? And this goes back to that personal history statement. Some people say, oh, this has happened and hasn't happened, or whatever the case is. On one of the personal history statements, you might say this happened, and later in your integrity interview that you say that this didn't happen. So let's look at these one by one, because a lot of people on the last one had a lot of specific questions, specifically to the marijuana information. But any felony conviction will get you automatically disqualified. Any convictions for a crime of violence as an adult 18 or over, specifically assaults including domestic violence, that's a disqualifier. Any hate crime, disqualifier. Ethnic intimidation is a disqualifier. Any integrity violation from a previous job, like I said before. Have you ever been terminated from a job before? yes, no. If this comes up, this is a disqualifier. Theft from current employer or previous employer. Big thing that we were asked a ton of times before and also via telephone was the marijuana. Marijuana use within the last 3 years is a disqualifier. Any illegal narcotic use within the past 5 years, also a disqualifier. Any alcohol or drug convictions, including but not limited to DUI, DWAI within the last 5 years. Hit and run accident convictions within the last 5 years. Any conviction of any crime that would affect post-certification requirements. Those again are the third degree assault, DV situations, any weapons charges with, alcohol on board, things of that nature. So if there's anything on here that you have a question about towards the end, please get with us either one-on-one or if you feel comfortable, raise your hand. We'll talk about any of the questions on disqualifying. So what does the public expect from police officers? Obviously, we have to use good judgment, right? Every day we get the benefits of this job, and what's great about working is every day is a different day. Every single day, every situation is completely different. So we look for good judgment and also being able to problem solve every single day. That's what we're looking for. Hopefully that's why you guys are here. So we also would like you guys to demonstrate empathy and compassion, demonstrate the ability to multitask under high stress situations. I'm sure you guys have seen the, cops before, or maybe you guys completed a ride along already. I know I talked to a couple of you guys who already completed a ride along. Things are thrown at you. Situations are never the same. They're constantly evolving. Big high stress priority calls will be going on, and then you go from a baby death situation into maybe a barking dog. You still have to have empathy for the person who can't sleep because the dog's barking, right? I know we spoke about some of those situations on the phone. Be respectful and show initiative. Demonstrate assertiveness. We want you to be able to possess and demonstrate integrity and engage in teamwork and collaboration. Without each other, without the teamwork, that's another big part of being a police officer is the camaraderie that you're going to see here, especially in Commerce City. The city's very busy. We handle 340,000 calls every single year. Without your teammates, you will never be successful. Without working together, we're not going to be successful either. So those are huge. General nature of police work also, you're not going to be able to, unfortunately, have Christmas off the first year that you work here, most likely. Luckily, some of you guys will and some of you won't. You might be missing birthdays. You might not be able to make it to your kid's graduation party. But there's a lot of really great things also that the police department has to offer. Our benefit packages, which I think actually we're going to speak about later. We have a home buying sharing program. We have the weapons reimbursement program, things of that nature. We are paid very well. I don't know if you've seen the pay benefit. I'm assuming you guys have, or you guys wouldn't be here, right? We have bilingual pay as well, and for any person who's Spanish speaking, obviously that's a big help within here. As the chief mentioned, 47% of our population is Spanish speaking and Hispanic, so that's in the pocket for you as well. You might be exposed to heat, cold, drug, odors, toxic agents, noise, vibration, smoke, humidity, dust, diseases. All these things sound horrible, but we want to throw it out to you in case you haven't read the job announcement. You may administer first aid in an emergency. You might have to push or pull, drag. You might have an individual or another person weighing 150 pounds or more that you might have to save. You might have to jump into a burning car, car on fire. You got to save the victim. Be exposed to blood or other bodily fluids. So, again, we were talking about the application and the hiring process. Make sure that you complete the online application with the personal history statement. That personal history statement takes a very long time. Be very thorough and make sure that you know exactly what the question is. Because like I said, there's gonna be questions later on that are gonna come up later, that they may kind of look at that and say, I thought you smoked marijuana yesterday. This says you haven't for 3 days, and that may be an automatic disqualifier. So please pay specific attention to that personal history statement. Also in the personal history statement, after you complete the online application and that statement, there's a ergometrics video exam, which Craig Dodd's going to speak about a little bit more about what to expect from that video testing. After the video testing, there's going to be an oral board panel and an interview. I'm sure you guys have seen similar situations. We're going to ask you scenario questions. We're going to ask you about your personal life. Tell us what you have to offer, what you're going to bring to our agency. That's part of the oral board. The integrity interview, again, is going to go over the personal history statement. And we're going to view all of the previous employers that you've ever had before. And we're going to ask you, why did you leave there? Things about those. So make sure, like I said, again, I know I'm harping on this a lot, but make sure that you are very truthful in everything that you put in your personal history statement. Because I would hate to see a great candidate be gone just because they didn't read the statement complete and they put a yes instead of a no when the answer was really a yes. The computerized voice stress analysis examination, that's a voice stress analysis, or some people call it like a lie detector voice stress analysis test. We have the psychological job suitability test with a firm that we go out to, that we hire out to. We have background investigation. And then if you get to the final interview with the police chief, he may give you a conditional offer, or he may say, no, you're not what we're looking for. And then following that is going to be the medical drug exam and a final psychological evaluation. So the process looks kind of long and arduous, but I'll tell you, our process is very fast. Myself and Officer Jenkins and Craig Dodd here, our process is very fast. A lot of people say, yeah, you know, at the same time I was applying with Denver or Thornton, and I'm just trying to get a job. I kind of shotgun my application out there. We're already in the 7th stage or whatever, and I haven't even had my second interview or my second call back from an officer in Denver. We move very fast, 3 to 4 months. And as you could see, we're going to start this academy in January. So we're going to move very fast. So please make sure that when we get your contact information, your phone numbers, those are correct. And you check that frequently, because we might say, hey, you've got to come in for an interview tomorrow. Hopefully we won't be able to do that, or we won't do that. Hopefully we'll have you have plenty of time to schedule those. But it's a fast process, and obviously if you guys want to get on and get into the police academy, it's pretty quick here. So like 2 to 3 months, pretty fast. So what's the commitment to Commerce City? If you have this opportunity and you take it into the police academy, you'll be earning $18 an hour. And actually, I'm going to turn this over to Craig Dodd, because he knows more about this than I do.
Okay, so this is the process itself. Just so you know, we have authorization to hire up to 5 candidates for this specific recruitment. And the process, starts tonight with the orientation. The job actually closes next Monday, or August 24th. And we've got a tentative timeline of all the testing. And as we go through the slides here, I'll kind of give you an idea of when those testing dates are. Because it'll be very important. We're not going to be able to be that flexible in terms of if you can't make a panel interview or something like that on the day that we select, you're most likely not going to be able to come in for an alternate date. But this position, you would be hired as a police recruit, which you would earn $18 per hour while you're going through the Colorado Post Academy at the Adams County Sheriff's Department, or the Flat Rock training facility. Once you graduate from the Post Academy and become post certified, then you become a police officer. And naturally, your salary and benefits, or your salary, would increase from that $18 per hour to the step A of our police officer salary range, which I believe right now is about $56,000 per year. So in terms of the academy itself, in order for you to be able to work as a police officer in the city of Commerce City, or any municipality or county in the state of Colorado, you have to go through a post-certified police academy, which is Flat Rock. We have 5 positions for the January academy. You also have to pass the academy and pass the post-certification test at the conclusion of the academy. So in terms of the $18 an hour, if you get through that entire academy and you cannot become post-certified, or you do not graduate from that academy, your employment ends with the city of Commerce City at that point in time. Upon graduation and upon becoming post-certified in the state of Colorado, then you would return back to the police department here, where Jeremy is one of our field training officers. You would go through a 6-week in-house academy, which you're going to learn a lot of stuff from a lot of different trainers and other organizations when you're at the police academy. We basically bring you back here for 6 weeks, and we point out that maybe the changes in policy from things that you learned in the academy compared to how we do our business, or if there's a different arrest control or a different defensive tactic vendor that is used over in the training. We get everybody on the same page so that you can be successful in our field training program here. Once you're out of the in-house academy, you are assigned to I think we have 10 to 15 field trainers within the police department now. Jeremy happens to be one of them. You go through 4 different phases, and actually I'll let you talk a little bit about our field training program if you'd like to right now.
Can you guys hear me without this? Okay. Gotcha. Got to use it for the video. So, like Craig said, once you complete the academy and become post-certified, you'll come to our training program. The training program is based within the patrol division. Commander Moon and Deputy Chief Richardson oversee the training program, oversee me in the training unit. So it's a 4-phase schedule where you'll be with 4 training officers during that period. The one thing that I like to talk about with our training program is that our goal, once you come out of the academy and start our program, is for us to make you successful, for us to provide you with the tools that you need to function as a police officer in Commerce City. We have an outstanding training group. The supervision is top-notch, and the program that we've put together is one that incites success in the program. Okay, we take great pride in pumping out top quality, strong officers out on the street who can exercise the core values and further the vision statement of the department of striving for excellence. So once that training is complete, like Craig said, you have the 6-week in-house academy where you'll learn all kinds of all the different skills, and you'll get certified in firearms and driving and defensive tactics and report writing and our records management system, and all the different stuff that comes. I tell you guys when you start the in-house academy that it's 6 weeks of drinking from a fire hose, because that's exactly what it is. You take in that much info in that short period of time, and you utilize that information and those skills that you learn in the training program where we evaluate your ability to perform as a police officer. Okay, once you complete the training program, you enter into a probationary period that expires after 1 year of employment from the start of your training program here. During that time, each new officer is assigned a mentor who is one of us from the training unit. And your training officer serves as your mentor through your probationary period as well as your training program to help you through those hurdles and, quite frankly, beyond your probationary period for the help that you need.
So continuing on, as part of this specific non-certified recruitment, we ask that the candidates that we do select enter into an agreement with the City of Commerce City. We're making a significant investment in you as candidates to come into the police department. We're providing you what otherwise would cost you $5,000, $6,000 of academy costs in order to put yourself through that training in order to be eligible to become a police officer. So there's an agreement in place that essentially says if you do not successfully complete the post-academy, successfully complete the field training program, that you would pay those monies back that we are paying the Adams County Sheriff's Department in order to train you, that $5,000 commitment that I'm talking about. We've currently got 3 officers that are going through the current academy and are expected to graduate in December. They're all doing very well according to Commander McNair, and that's good. But you need to know that there is there's a check and balance here. We're not going to hire somebody that we do not believe can be here and be successful. And part of that, from your perspective, is signing this agreement and committing to us, committing to this profession to be successful. So the 3-year piece of this is that. So let's say you are successful. You've gone through the field training program. You're out on your own as a police officer, and you decide, hey, North Glen or Fort Collins PD's called up, and they want to hire you as a police officer. You've entered into agreement that basically says, you will pay back that money that we invested in you because we want that 3-year commitment of someone that wants to work for our agency in our community. Make sense? Okay. So if I could get Commander McNair to come on up. Commander McNair is director of the Flat Rock Training Facility, who would be hosting our Post Academy for those that we select in this room.
Thank you. Like you said, I'm Commander McNair. I'm the director of our academy down at Flat Rock Regional Training Center. Currently, right now, we have 37 cadets that are going right now. They will be graduating in September. We have 37 cadets from 12 different agencies. When you guys come down, it'll be in January, and we're actually going to have our biggest academy ever. There's going to be 60 cadets, and we're going to have 19 different agencies. And what I mean by different agencies, we're going to have Thornton, Commerce City, we're going to have UNC, we're going to have Boulder, we're going to have Boulder County, we're going to have basically all the colleges, Fort Collins, Larimer County Sheriffs, and kind of go on and go on. But one of the things about with the academy that I want you guys to know, it is a very difficult academy. It's paramilitary. We have that structure. Very difficult academically, very difficult physically, very difficult with all our skills portion too. But the neat thing about it, we almost have like a 99% success rate. Because what happens, whoever gets chosen from here, and that's what happens, all the different agencies, they'll hire, like 5 are going to be hired from here. They'll hire the top of the people that are going to come down there. So whoever makes it, congratulations. But just want to let you guys know right up front, it's a difficult academy. Some of the things that you're going to be doing, you're going to get 125 hours of firearms. This is rifles, this is shotguns, beanbag, taser. Everybody's going to get tased. Yeah, so you got to know how that is. Everybody's going to get OC sprayed. Yeah, they're always good at the video and graduation. But yes, those are some of the things that you're going to do. One of the things with our academy we really stress is teamwork. And you're going to find that right in the beginning. Once you get in the academy, we really work on teamwork. Everybody is encouraging each other. Because what you're going to find is there's going to be some cadets that are really good, say, in firearms and do an awesome job. But they're not so good at academics. And there's some cadets that are really good with arrest control, but they're not so good with law enforcement driving. But what happens is you become a team. You're going to be down there for 22 weeks, and you become a team, and everybody works together. One of the things is attitude, attitude, attitude. You'll know right from the beginning about we really stress on the positive attitude because it is extremely difficult as far as paramilitary. But when you're done with the academy, you are ready to go. You're going to go through the training that you get with the municipalities or the counties or the state, but you're going to be really ready to go. Just a few more things. As far as our fitness, what we have, we're going to have 3 assessments, and those assessments is 1.5 miles, as many sit-ups as you can do in a minute, as many sit-ups as you can do in a minute, and sit and reach. And what we look for is improvement. So in the beginning, we're going to see where the assessment is. We're going to see the assessment in the middle. We're going to have another assessment. And then finally, at the end, we're going to have a final assessment at the very end. So we're like I said, a very physical academy when it goes like that. But I want to let you know, too, we've had people that are professional athletes have been in the academy, former football players. And then we have some people who their athletic skills, are really don't have too much. But what we do, if attitude's everything, we develop them and they become better. You go there every day with a positive attitude, and then you work and you improve, and then by the end of the academy, you're ready to go. I've seen some people lose over 30 pounds in the academy and make it clear to the end. One last thing with the physical portion, we did this thing called Bar Lake Run, okay? And that's at the end of the academy. In fact, we have alumni from other academies that come whenever we have this Bar Lake Run towards the end of the academy. We run around Bar Lake. Does anybody know how far Bar Lake is by chance? Around? Right here. What is it, sir? 8.8 miles. That's right. So it is a long way. But it's not to make marathon runners out of everybody, but it's to show you how, with the academy from the start to finish, how difficult it can be, and then also what we do. Some people run the whole time, but for the most part, we get everybody to get to the finish of the Bar Lake Run, and it's a good thing that we have with other agencies that we work with. So that's pretty much it with the academy. Like I said, it's exciting because we're going to have our biggest academy yet. One last thing with Flat Rock Regional Training Center, it's over by Bar Lake. It's 128th and Piccadilly. We're the only academy in the state that has 3 elements there. What I mean by the 3 elements is you're going to have the ranges right there on the academy. You're going to have the driving track. The driving track, we have 6-acre skills pad. We have a 1.3 driving course, highway driving course. And then we have the arrest control building where you do the arrest control. So you don't leave anywhere. A lot of academies, you got to go to different locations, so you're just going to have it right there. And incidentally, that's in Commerce City is where our address is. So later, if any of you have some questions about the academy, anything, reference the academy, the physical, fitness, the different things that we're going to do, get a hold of me, and I'll inform you in some of those things. Okay? Thank you. Appreciate it.
So before we open it up for questions and answers, I wanted to throw a couple other things out for you that I didn't mention earlier. So as part of your $18 per hour and going through this post-academy, you are provided all of the equipment and uniform supplies that you need, with the exception of a sidearm. That is something that is not currently offered, so you'd have to purchase your own gun, your own handgun, to get through the post-academy. But everything else is provided to you. So the process itself. So if you decide after tonight, or you've already decided that you're going to apply, the closing date is 8/24 or August 24th. I anticipate that we will have a decision within 3 days or toward the latter part of next week as to who we're going to invite to a video test. And we have already determined that we're going to invite, if we have 50 to 75 quality candidates, and I can tell you that as of today there's 123 candidates who have already applied. We will take the top 50 to 75 and we will invite them to come in for a video test on September 10th, which I believe is a Thursday. So you might want to mark that down if you've already applied or if you plan to apply as your first testing date. So how do we reach that 50 to 75? We look at the disqualifications. We look at the completeness of your application. We look at your personal history statements. And here's another something else that you can write down. If you are invited to a video test and you have not submitted online your personal history statement, or you do not bring it with you to the video test, you will not be able to test and you will be dismissed from the process in total. So it's very important. It gives us some valuable evaluation material on the front end to make sure that we're not wasting your time and you're not wasting ours. So from the video test, we will likely knock, if we have 20 to 25 candidates who pass that portion of our test, we would invite them back for panel interviews. Those dates are tentatively scheduled for a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on September 23rd, 24th, and 25th. So you can see about every 2 weeks we're doing some sort of testing. If you successfully complete the panel interviews, then I believe the next testing date is October 1st and October 2nd. Which is a Thursday and Friday, which we will have a psychologist that will be here on site for those that are successful and move forward to that phase. You would go through approximately 3 hours of testing, basically taking psychologically based bubble tests and an interview with the psychologist. And then by this time, we're down to about 10 people. Those that pass that job suitability assessment or that initial psychologically based testing will move on into background investigations, another integrity interview, and a voice stress analysis test, which is very similar to a polygraph. All told, we should be complete with this process by the end of November, and chief's interviews, final interviews with the chief of police will have been scheduled. And at that point in time, you're going to know almost immediately whether or not you will be given a conditional job offer. There should be ample time for those that are selected, again, up to 5, to be able to prepare and be ready for the police academy. Anything else that you can think I'm missing? Yeah, I'm not good for that. You want to? Yeah.
So a lot of the questions that we get are about the benefits that are offered as an employee of Commerce City. I can tell you I've been here for 16 years, so obviously the City of Commerce City is doing something right, to retain employees this long. We have an extremely competitive compensation as far as salary is concerned. Once you finish the academy and come on out into the training program, you bumped up to the Step A officer pay, which I believe is about $56,000 a year. And our top out for patrol officer prior to any kind of promotion to sergeant and beyond is $77,000 and change. The reason I bring that up is that's very competitive with the metro area and our surrounding cities. But what's nice about our pay scale is that you reach that $77,000 in 5 years. Some of the other departments around here, one of the departments that we border, they have the same pay scale, but it takes them 14 years to reach that top out pay. So it's one of the many benefits to being employed here. So the health care, health insurance that the city offers is amazing. The plans that we have, I have family coverage on my check, and I'll tell you I pay $46 a paycheck for health insurance. The city covers a significant, 99% of the monthly premium for health insurance for the employees here. Like Officer Bungartz mentioned earlier, some of the auxiliary stuff that we have is a home buying program. If you choose to become a resident of Commerce City, you can ask the city for a loan that is basically paid back in property taxes if you remain in the house for 5 years. The loan is forgiven. To start off with, they'll give you a check for $10,000 to help you with closing costs, down payment, whatever it is that you need to help you get into a home in the city. And that's nice because you stay in the house for 5 years and then you pay your property taxes through your mortgage payment and you don't have to pay the money back and you have your nice new house here in the city. There's the weapon buyback program where once a year you can spend up to, $1,500 per calendar year to purchase weapons and items associated with what you need, safes, magazines, ammunition, whatever it is that you need to maintain your weapons. And along with the health insurance, there's also the vision and dental plans are extremely competitive. They're top-notch. The benefit package that you receive for being an employee here, I would challenge anyone to find one that's close for any law enforcement agency here in the metro area. So I bring that up because that's, everyone's always hesitant to ask how much money am I going to make, but you need to know that when you're looking for a new job. So those are a couple of the other benefits. So Craig, do we have anything else, or do we want to open it up? Okay. We'll open up the floor to questions, and we'll try to provide some answers.
All right, everybody's seen the big cop out on the street that belly's touching the steering wheel, and you're like, how has he made it? As far as standards after the academy, how do we keep up with that? Because in the military, when I was in, it was PT every day at 5 in the morning. So what continues to make the officer strive for excellence after the academy, or to prevent him from just becoming lackadaisical, because complacency kills?
Well, that's a good question. You're going to get to your foundation for physical fitness and for why it's important to stay in good shape from Commander McNair and his staff at the academy. Okay, like he talked about, you're going to go through a pretty rigorous physical fitness program. All right, and you're going to be in some pretty top-notch shape when you finish his academy. So that's the first step of it. In the academy, you're also going to learn about the importance of officer safety, of the importance of us going home every night. And a big component of that is your physical fitness, your nutrition plan, and maintaining a stable emotional balance also while doing the job. So we'll hit on that more once you finish the post-academy and come into our in-house academy. Our officer safety instructors do an incredible job of hitting on those areas. And a big part of it is the individual buy-in to that and getting yourself on a plan to make sure that you remain in good shape, to make sure that you're able to physically maintain the stresses of being a police officer The stresses are not only emotional, but they can be physical. These belts aren't comfortable. They wear on your back. And, you combat those things by being in good physical shape. So to answer your question, after you get that foundation, know what it is that you need to do. A big part of it is you staying on that plan and keeping yourself where you need to be.
Roger.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Other questions?
So this is I have 3 questions total. When it comes to benefits, do you guys offer anything for any type of schooling if I wanted to possibly pursue other things as well?
Absolutely. The city has a tuition reimbursement plan. I'm currently using it. The city will give you initially $1,500 right off the bat once you submit your transcripts and your grades from your first class. Now, there's a fund that's established for tuition reimbursement, and at the end of the year, during the year, you continue to submit your classes and what your tuition fees are and such. And at the end of the year, the finance department looks at how much money is left, and then they look at everyone that's applied for it already, and they split it up evenly so that you can pay off the rest of whatever tuition bills you have.
My next question kind of pertains to what you guys are currently doing. Is this, like the recruitment part of it at least, this type of program, is it going to be around more years, or is this kind of just a one-time thing?
I sure hope so. It's we're the first group that we've tried is in the academy up at Flat Rock right now. Commander McNair reports that they're doing well, and they're doing us proud here. And it's a developing process. It's something that we're trying out. Like the chief mentioned in his opening statements, the department wants to be a reflection of our community. And so one way that we can do that is to pull people from the community who are interested in law enforcement to help you begin this journey in your career.
All right. The reason for that question is because as of right now, I'm only currently 20 years of age. You guys are talking about starting in January, and then hopefully it came up in the paper, if you would be 21 years of age by May 1st of 2016. I will be 21 May 15th. So that's why.
Well, and that's something that I think can work out with Post, and Craig can give you some more info on that.
I mean, actually, we had set that standard of May 1st. And so that's not a standard that we can change for this current process. Going back to your original question, Chief Smith is very supportive of continuing this non-certified recruitment on twice annual basis. So they do 2 academies out there per year. Our intention is that we're hopeful to be able to hire up to 5 more candidates for a July start of 2016 if there's availability at Flat Rock. So a total of 10 officers in 2016. We found that one of the greatest recruitment pools that we have are those that have never done anything in our business. It's those that we can bring into the organization and mold the way we want them to be and the way our community expects us to police. So we hope to be doing that. But so in terms of answering your question, we can't make any exceptions.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Other questions?
Any other questions?
Sir.
Get you next.
Yeah. How much exposure do you get to other units within the Commerce City Police Department? Like, I'm sure you have specialty units, maybe a dog unit, maybe a canine unit, drug unit, SWAT. So, like at the academy, do you get exposed to that?
Well,
I'm guessing you probably don't. At least not initially. Probably touch on it, but
I'm not so sure that you'll get so much training in those areas at the Post Academy, but in the in-house academy, we have orientation on all those different units, and through the training program, you become oriented with the different operations of the different units in the department. As far as assignment to special units and your ability to move forward after you complete your probationary period and you're eligible to test, most special assignments in the department have a requirement that you work as a patrol officer for 3 years. That 3 years starts the day you start the training program. We do have a myriad of different units that you can work in. We have the traffic unit. There's investigations where you can be a formal suit and tie detective. There's the K9 unit. We have detectives assigned to various task forces to include North Metro Drug Task Force and Metro Gang. And the there's the auto theft assignments, street crimes, and there's a lot of different ways you can take your career here. We have a full service SWAT team here for people with tactical background or people who are looking to get into that realm. The community policing unit that Officer Bungartz works in, they address quality of life issues, community issues within the different neighborhoods. They work on long-term problem-solving initiatives, and they also manage the neighborhood watch, or we call it neighbors to neighbors groups in the community also. Does that answer you?
You know, that was a really good question. Just a little bit of follow-up with the regional training center that you're going to be at. We do have the SWAT team, so they're going to come down there half a day, so you get to take a look at the SWAT team. And then also, too, we do have a few of the specialized units that you'll get to see during the academy. And that's such a great thing about our career is, and I'm kind of blessed, because what I do is I just pick out those guys that have passion. Like I have a Sergeant McKinney, Commander Gregory, truly the best in the state for firearms, truly are. I mean, they teach classes, they do everything, and that's what's so unique about law enforcement, because there's so many different avenues. Find that position that you really like, arrest control, driving, firearms, and then become an expert, become an SME at it, and that's what's really neat, about law enforcement. Fortunately, I'm the commander, so I got one that's not so sexy. I'm an SME with curriculum. That's usually what happens, right? So, but yeah, it is really neat, and that was a great question.
But at least you get to do it all.
Yeah.
So actually, talking about the firearms instructors, competitive, award-winning firearms instructors up at the academy, some guys with some top-notch skills. So.
And the other thing, too, with Commerce City, they're going to start bringing instructors, too, that are going to assist, and they got some really, really great instructors. And you kind of hit it, too, when you were talking about, the 3 cadets that are going down from Commerce City. They're doing an awesome job right now, the ones that are coming to the guys. So we're really pleased with their status.
So, does anybody else have another question? Because if not, I'm going to just ramble on.
Go ahead. All
right.
As much time as you guys need.
How often do you outsource for police, for like your in-home training? Like, do you outsource to other agencies or other people like across the nation to come in and help train you guys?
On occasion, we do. It depends on what the curriculum is, what the topic is. What's nice about the Adams County regional area is both within the department and in the region, we have numbers and numbers of highly qualified instructors in all the different categories. So I don't have to reach any farther than the Sheriff's Department or Thornton Police or Westminster Police Department or, quite frankly, here within Commerce City when we're putting together training programs. And so when there's areas that are, something that we haven't touched on before, we need some expertise in, then we have gone out in the past, but it's not common, but it is there.
Another question over here.
Yeah, to follow up on that question as well, sir, we also have a budget line item of $50,000 that's dedicated to employee training, and that's not counting anything that Jeremy just discussed. So that's specialized training. For instance, Deputy Chief Richardson is going to be attending the FBI National Academy. I believe he leaves here in a few weeks. And sitting next to him last year, Commander Dennis Moon was sent to the FBI National Academy. So granted, those are executive level positions, but the chief takes great he tunes us up good, so we're good.
So on the note of the specialized units, one more point is one of the things that we do as mentors within the training program is talk with you about what your aspirations are and what you feel your strengths are and what route you want to take your career. So if you want to, if you're interested in joining the SWAT team, what we'll do is make sure to arrange that you get to go to training with our SWAT team. You can be a decoy for them to start off with, go to training, learn what they do, how they do it, and that goes for any unit. If traffic investigations are what interests you, we'll make sure you get some time with the traffic unit. So.
Hi, yeah, I had a question. I'm actually looking through your mission statement. I was wondering how, as a patrol officer, you actively embrace the community, and what does that look like on a day-to-day basis for you? Because obviously a lot of departments will say that, but it's a punchline. So I was wondering, how does Commerce City differ, and how do you guys be a part of your community? And you already touched a little bit about it.
Sure. Well, Anna can talk a lot more about that. I'll give you an example today. I'm on the bike unit, the bicycle team. So I spent a good couple of hours today out riding through the parks up in our District 4 up north. And I spent a good 10, 15 minutes playing hoops with a bunch of 10-year-olds who just got out of school. That's one small example of how you can embrace the community. It goes into the mission statement of striving for excellence. Every call that I go to, I treat no differently than if it were my family being serviced. So I don't care if it's, the graffiti on the garage door all the way up to the homicide where, the victim of the homicide's family is grieving. Each one of those calls gets 100% of my attention and my energy, and I don't leave that call until I've given it 110% of what I can give to resolve that issue. So Anna can talk more about the community policing initiative.
So I'm actually in the crime prevention unit. Can you guys hear me back on this? And I'll tell you, exactly what you said. A lot of people say that, and that's a punchline for everybody nowadays. But I'll tell you, in Commerce City, you're never going to see anything like this. The programs that we have here, and I can honestly say that. I came from another agency, as some other people spoke about, and we've had a lot of laterals in from other agencies as well. And just to give you some idea of the things that we do, which is awesome because it happens to be my job, my current assignment right now. I went to police camp. I don't know if you guys have seen what we offer through the city. Police camp for kids from 11 years old to 15 years old. And it's almost like an outdoor education kind of component. We take them up to outdoor lab facility outside of Evergreen. And for an entire week, we show them exactly what it's like to be a police officer as far as, building searches. Teach them about drinking and driving. We actually have them do scenarios, handcuffing, arrest control. We have them also interlinked with, hiking and some outdoor activities. But it's a full week, and there's about 20 to 30 police officers from Commerce City that go up there and camp with them. I've had the opportunity to stay the night with them for an entire week, and this is going to be the second year. That's just one example. We have Bike with a Cop. That we do frequently throughout the summer. So we have several grants that we actually share with the rec center. And so what we do is go out and get however many kids want to sign up for it that day. And we go on a long bike ride, an hour, 2 hours. Obviously, if they're smaller, we'll set up a little bicycle rodeo out here in the parking lot. And we'll ride around with the kids on bikes and just talk about whatever they want to talk about. Also, there's Cops versus Kids events where you actually get paid overtime as a police officer to play basketball with kids for 2 hours, dodgeball. And these aren't events that happen once a year. These are like 2 and 3 times a month events throughout the city at the rec center or up north in Reunion or down at different parks. There's also camping events. There's zombie events where you go camping with kids on zombie apocalypse. And there's nothing that's anything like it. This last Saturday, I did a competition up in Brighton where we helped them with our cadet and our Explorer program. It was a Night Moves Explorer competition. That was 10 hours of them doing a regional competition as well, where we went and assisted them in building those relationships. Those are some of the, just some of the things. We have back to school drives right now. Currently, we have our National Night Out programs where this year we held 17 different events throughout the community where we went to their barbecues and we handed out swag to them, we played basketball with kids, we played football with kids. One of the commanders that was here, it looks like he left, he actually hosted a barbecue for an area that was more crime-ridden than another area, and we actually hosted that with our own money, had 10, 15 officers there, and were able to just engage with the community for a barbecue for 2.5 hours and get paid. So not only that's just some of the programs that we're doing, but we have by far a lot of it is theory and books, but they're definitely putting it into practice here. It's an everyday thing, and it's not just something that you hear about one time in the police academy, community policing this or community policing that. Every single day, you'll see our officers in the parks here at Pioneer Park or up in Reunion or Frontera getting out of patrol cars, handing kids, Slurpee coupons or coupons to the rec center. We're very, very, very great that we're able to work with the community and the rec center as tightly as we do. And we have events every single weekend at the rec center as well that are outside of those other events that we spoke about.
Yeah, the things that you're reading in those handouts are, we get that question a lot. They're not just taglines. Those are all items that have permeated the culture of this department and how we do business on a daily basis and even on a call-to-call basis. I train it, I see it with my peers, and I perform in that function. And so, we talked about, Commander McNair talked about the concepts of teamwork. I have a lot of contacts throughout law enforcement. I can tell you that the teamwork that occurs, on the street and between the different units and the divisions within the department here is top notch. I'm very proud of the men and women that I work with. Like I said, I've been here for 16 years and I don't plan on going anywhere because this is my home. And a big part of that is the teamwork and the camaraderie that exists in this department. On the patrol team that I work on, we have a rule that we don't go home until everyone goes home. So if your district partner gets a jacked up call that's going to take him 3 hours to work on it, you're going to stay with him so it only takes him an hour to finish it. Those are the kind of concepts that permeate the staff here at our department, and I can tell you it's an incredible place to work, and what you guys are seeing on that paperwork just isn't print, it's what goes into practice here on a daily basis. Good question.
So 40% of the community is Latin or Hispanic, you said?
It's about 47.
47. What kind of activities or things do you guys do to interact with the Latin community?
So I'm actually in the crime prevention unit, and I'm also a Hispanic liaison officer. I know I don't look Hispanic, but we went down to Mexico City and did a study abroad as well as immersion program there. So I actually do most of the interviews here for Telemundo in Spanish and in English as well. And all of our programs, we always have somebody there who's bilingual, such as myself, or there's a couple other, 2 or 3 other officers that are Spanish speaking in all of those events through the rec center, Cops with Kids, Bike with a Cop, anything like that. We also have, I sit on the Minority Business Association meetings as well that happen every single month within the community here. We meet with all of the business owners or whoever signs up for that day, and if they want to know anything that's going on, same thing. We also have like an interpreter there as well, or and determine obviously what's different from some of the other businesses that maybe specific needs to the Spanish-speaking community as well. So everything is bilingual. Everything that you see here is obviously going to be bilingual because of that high population.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Go ahead.
Ask away, please.
Okay. So I was also reading that you guys use data to identify and solve problems. What role does that data play on the average day of a patrol officer? Is it directing when they're not responding to calls where they're going to be going to prevent and deter crime, or is it going to be the statistics used for something else? Are they used for publicity? What does that mean? What does data mean to you guys?
So we just went to a geo-policing policy within our police department, and that is that each crime prevention officer and a commander is assigned to a specific zone. So the way we have it set up right now is our city is broken down into 3 zones, myself being assigned to Zone A, and then 2 of my other partners, B and C, and a commander to obviously direct them. Now within that zone, police officers are assigned to districts within those zones. So what we do is go into our briefings or into their briefings and say, based on our crime analyst, they've seen these patterns that are going on, for instance. And, burglaries are up or trespasses are up. So like Jeremy said, he's on the bike unit. So we'll deploy the bike unit or plainclothes unit, or we'll bring in, like he said, we have an EMAT unit that does nothing but auto thefts. We'll come in and have them set up a specific car.
You guys seen the TV show? You guys seen the TV show Bait Car? For those of you who have, that's a real thing. And the auto theft unit that's one of the tactics that they use. And we're fortunate here at Commerce City where not all departments have a full-time crime analyst, but we do. And she does an amazing job of putting together all the data that's collected each day so that we can direct our enforcement. Like Anna said, if we're getting a string of burglaries in a certain neighborhood, we're going to go ahead and direct our resources to that area where that problem is until the problem goes away.
ALPR cars, Craig Dodd said, we have a huge training budget as well, $50,000 per year. So we're able to get top-notch, high-quality stuff to help prevent those crimes. We just ordered a iPad and a new Apple phone that actually traces, for instance, some GPS software and stuff like that. Top-notch stuff that is very great to work with for sure and apprehend suspects.
Anything else? Any other questions? Keep them coming.
I guess overexploit things, especially with the incident in Baltimore and kind of a lot of the incidents that have been happening with police officers. Do you feel that that's going to change the way things are operating?
Well, I'll tell you, just based off of the programs that we were just speaking about, I mean, I think we have a lot of credits in our bank with this community. We're always out in the community. I can go work an off-duty gig at the flea market, or I can walk in Pioneer Park. Like last week, we had a big event within the community where we had a huge barbecue. Thousands of people came out. And I think based on those interactions with the community, I don't think that our community would have any problem at all backing us based on the work that we've done here. And we know, people come up to me and shake my hand when I'm off duty in a grocery store and say, hey, Officer Bungars, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, wow, they must work or live in the city or whatever the case is. So, and that's just not because I work in the crime prevention unit. Officer Jenkins has the same interaction daily, and I could speak for probably 80% of the officers here that they have those same exact interactions. We are very community oriented. We're very community based. We have a ton of outreaches where our police department, it's not about your unit of 2 or 3 people who are going out and doing community policing work. It's about the whole entire police department, and the concept is bred, like Jeremy said, within the agency. It's not 1 or 2 people who work within the crime prevention unit or the school resource officers who know a couple people. It's every officer in this agency knows and can say, oh, you live here. Oh, hey, how's your kid doing? How's this? And especially with the bike unit being out on bikes and the SROs, and it's not, like I said, a specific unit. It's an entire agency that has not a theory on paper, but in practice. So I don't think that that's anything that we'd be facing anytime in the near future.
Basically, you're all crime prevention. That's pretty
Absolutely.
much that's how I see it.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just curious because I know certain people have, especially with the media, a lot of negative connotation, and there's not a whole lot of positive. So it's nice to hear your point of view.
You know, just real quick, a very honorable position. If it wasn't for the thin blue line, you know, it'd be total chaos. So what officers do is just absolutely amazing, if you ask me. One of the things in the academy you're going to do is scenario-based training, and you're going to go over a lot of shoot, don't shoot scenarios. Because, you know, it's really easy, you know, with the media on the next morning to criticize somebody, correct? It's always good to be a Monday morning quarterback. But when you're making that decision, and you got to make that split-second decision, it's a very, very difficult decision. And we have a lot of training with that goes on. And you know, I tell you what, I over at Flat Rock, I do bring some community groups, and they get to see these scenarios. And these are real-life scenarios where they're shoot, don't shoot. And then I tell you what, that really opens some people's eyes with law enforcement, what they have to do. Because if they don't make those split-second decisions, it could be their life or it could be other people's life.
How much of that is done at night?
As far as our scenario?
Yeah.
We do quite a bit. We do night shooting. We also do scenario-based training. There's a few nights that we're going to be doing.
I was just guessing because it seems like a lot of it probably tends to happen at night.
Sure. When
your senses are kind of out of whack, especially when you're surprised.
After the academy, also our in-service training, we have 4 qualifications a year, once quarterly, and one of those 4 is a night qualification. And then the firearms instructors also work in a night training program for our in-service training for firearms after you're out of the post academy as well.
Is there any other questions that we can answer? Yep.
I was going to ask a private, but I guess since we're talking about firearms, for instance, going into the academy in person firearm, as far as Colorado law with magazine capacities, how does that affect us? I mean, are we able to use, say, like in Block 17, the standard 17-round magazines, or magazines or
Do you want to answer that, Craig? Do you want to answer that?
Following the question, I was.
Oh, okay. So basically what happened on this last recruit with the 3 recruits that we have up in Flat Rock right now is our police chief will give you a letter and you'll be able to purchase those high capacity magazines in order for you to go to the police department with those. So you won't have to go in with 10 rounds. You'll have the same exact, everything that I'm able to purchase, you'll be able to purchase as well with that letter from the police chief. If, you know, you get, when and if you get to that phase. So yeah, that won't be a problem.
Okay.
Did I answer that question?
Yeah, that was fine.
Okay. Any other questions?
I know someone's got something.
There's no such thing as a dumb question.
Do any qualifications for people like me who've been to a lot of military schools? Do any of those transfer over? Airborne, air assault, sniper, RSLIC? I've been to about 12 and graduated military schools that I know the police utilize in certain aspects. Like, I know you don't want to send me to an 8-week school if I wanted to become sniper qualified in the police department. Could I use Fort Benning, Georgia's qualification from the U.S. Army and say, oh, this man's sniper qualified, he's a Bravo 4?
Well, as far as post standards are concerned, you still have to qualify within post standards after receiving the minimum hours of training through the post academy. Now, when it comes time, after you do your 3 years, if you're interested in, joining the tactical team, that would be something that you would want to use in your oral board in front of the tactical commanders. Tell them you have this experience and you have this previous training, and that's something that I think would look favorably upon you for previous skills, for moving in different positions.
Roger. So. One more, basically went on the veteran status. Does that give me any kind of preference towards job hiring like it does in the other civilian job markets? Does veteran and disabled veteran status put me ahead of the line?
No, not necessarily. It's a very standardized testing,
okay.
And what we're as a veteran, you may have some of those qualities that we're looking for. You may be more refined in the discipline and respect areas, over another candidate. But that's something that you'll have to sell to us in your testing process.
Okay, Roger.
So.
Are there any other questions? If I could just say something really quick. I know I went through the job descriptions and exactly what we're looking for and not looking for as far as disqualifications go. We're not looking for a perfect person. Neither one of us were perfect. We grew up together. We did silly things together. We were cadets together. So if there's something that is on the personal history statement that you can explain, hey, this was an honest mistake, that's what we're looking for. We're just not looking for somebody to go, hey, I've never sold anything in my life, not even including a gummy bear or something from the candy store. So we're not looking for the perfect person. As a matter of fact, I'm sure you guys know that those mistakes that we all make in life probably make us a better police officer on the street. So I want to make sure that leaving here that we're not looking for the squeaky clean candidate who can't relate to anybody who's working or living in our community or can't relate to any kind of bad misconduct or mistakes or talking back to parents or hey, I had a really crappy time when I was in my puberty years or whatever the case is, and not being able to relate that to the community. Obviously, we don't want toy soldiers walking around. We want humans who are compassionate and empathetic with our community. So I just want to touch on that really quick because I know I went through those disqualifications really fast. I know it's a really long list of things that maybe could disqualify or not disqualify you on, but just make sure, again, that you answer that personal history statement clear and concise and telling the truth. We're not looking, like I said, for a squeaky person, but we're also not looking for people who have integrity issues as well.
Obviously, integrity is a huge part of what we do. So I'm just going to say it again. She hit on it. Be truthful in those personal history statements and be complete. If there's something that you question whether or not you should put on there as to how we're going to look at it, if you're thinking about it that way, put it on there because I can tell you the background process and such is intense, and the background investigators will dig it up. And if they do dig it up and you didn't disclose it, you're going to be disqualified. So just because you have something on there that you may not be 100% proud of, put it on there and explain why it happened. So, but being dishonest about it or lying by omission is something that will get you disqualified. Cannot reiterate that enough.
As an example, we just had 6 applicants in the final phase of testing that has started. we were going to hire all 6 if they were qualified throughout the entire process, and we just had to dismiss 2 out of the background process for that very reason right there. And I want to offer up to anybody that's in the room, whether it's today or tonight, come up and approach any of us individually if you have something that is in your mind about maybe something from your past that you think may disqualify you. I'll be open and honest with you, or you can follow up with any of us through email or by phone.
I think we had another question.
Okay. We have one more question.
I'm coming here from Greeley, so that's where you live? Okay. All right, that answers my question. Perfect. Yeah.
No, there's no residency requirement. No residency requirement in Commerce City. You do have to live in the state of Colorado, correct, Rick? He's not back there. I
yes,
believe
you do. You have to be a resident of Colorado. The only time that a residency or distance requirement applies is if you're part of a special unit and you're assigned a take-home vehicle. Right. Then you have to be within a certain radius. What is that radius, Chief? It's very small. 25 minutes or so. So pretty much the entirety of the city of Commerce City, and from the police department, I believe is how it's written, correct? So that's the only time you could call it a residency requirement because of the distance. You'd have to be in the city, if you're a detective or traffic officer who takes their car home. So the reason for that is the reason they take the cars home is because they're on call. So we want them close, so when they get called out, they're serving their purpose. So. It's a good question. I forgot about the residency stuff. Anyone else? Any other questions?
If there's no more questions, contact information up here. Be sure and take it down. You can send any initial questions to me if you want, and if I need to farm it out for an answer, I'll be certainly happy to do that. Remember the testing dates, personal history statements, very important. Any questions you have, just feel free to reach out to us. We're here for you. So, thank you.
Good evening. Wasn't planning on addressing the board, but I'm Hannah Mullen with Congressman Perlmutter's office. So I can give you actually a quick update, just some things that'll be upcoming this fall. So we're doing our 2nd annual STEM App Challenge. It'll be on November 7th, and we'll be holding it at North Glen High School. It's open to any